The crystal chandelier above the penthouse ballroom shattered the silence like a gunshot when Elias Hawthorne's champagne flute slipped from his manicured fingers, exploding across the marble floor in a spray of golden shards. Rowan froze mid-stride, tray balanced precariously on his upturned palm, the weight of 24 flutes now threatening to join the chaos as every eye in the room, dripping with diamonds and disdain, swiveled toward him, the unassuming waiter from the catering crew. "You," Elias barked, his voice slicing through the murmurs like a blade, pointing a ringed finger straight at Rowan's chest, "Sing for us. Right now. Or get the hell out." Rowan's heart slammed against his ribs like a trapped bird, the kind that fluttered wildly before it gave up and went still. The air in Elias Hawthorne's sprawling Manhattan penthouse hung thick with the scent of aged scotch and tuberose bouquets, a perfume of excess that clung to the silk gowns and tailored tuxedos of New York's elite. He was just 25, fresh off a red-eye from a nowhere town in upstate Vermont, chasing the dim promise of tips in a city that chewed up dreamers like him and spat out husks. His black shirt, starched to perfection for the night's gig, now felt like a straitjacket, the bow tie choking the breath from his throat as Elias, tall, broad-shouldered, with the kind of chiseled face that graced Forbes covers, loomed closer, his blue eyes sharp as shattered ice. "Why me?" Rowan managed, his voice a low rasp, barely audible over the jazz quartet's hesitant restart in the corner. The room, a glittering cage of floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Hudson's midnight shimmer, held about 50 souls, hedge fund titans nursing $100 paws, actresses with cheekbones like switchblades, and a smattering of influencers snapping candids for feeds that screamed curated perfection. Elias's birthday bash was the event of the season, whispered about in page 6 previews, and Rowan was the invisible thread holding the night's fabric together, pouring, clearing, smiling through gritted teeth. Elias leaned in, close enough that Rowan caught the faint cedarwood of his cologne, undercut by something sharper, like desperation masked as command. "Because you look like you've got a story," Elias said, his tone laced with that effortless authority that came from boardrooms and buyouts. At 35, he'd built Hawthorne Ventures from a garage startup into a tech empire worth billions, the kind of man who turned whims into empires overnight. But tonight, with the city lights painting his golden hair in electric hues, he seemed frayed at the edges, like a king surveying a kingdom that no longer fit. And stories deserve a soundtrack. Humor me. One song. Or I'll have security escort your entire crew out, tips be damned. The crowd tittered, a ripple of amusement that set Rowan's cheeks burning. He glanced at his boss, Maria, hovering by the bar with her clipboard clutched like a shield, her nod subtle but urgent, "Play along, kid." Rowan's hands trembled as he set the tray down on a passing side table, the clink of glass echoing like a verdict. Singing. God, not here. Not like this. Back in Brattleboro, he'd crooned Dylan covers in the dive bar his dad owned before the cancer took him, voice raw and real under neon buzz. But New York? It demanded Polish performance, not the cracked vulnerability he carried like a scar. His ex, Tyler, blonde, beautiful, brutal, had called it l'amateur hour once, right before he ghosted Rowan for a producer in LA, leaving him with a sublet he couldn't afford and a guitar gathering dust in the closet. "Fine," Rowan said, the word tasting like ash. He cleared his throat, stepping into the open space Elias carved with a sweep of his arm, the Persian rug soft under his scuffed Oxfords. The quartet faltered to a stop, and in the hush, Rowan felt exposed, a moth pinned under the collective gaze. He thought of his mom, her frail hands braiding his hair as a kid, whispering, "Your voice is your armor, Ro." Armor. Yeah. He closed his eyes, drew a breath that scraped his lungs, and let it out in a single, unbroken note. The song came unbidden, Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen's haunting him, but stripped bare, Rowan's baritone weaving through the verses like smoke from a dying fire. His voice started low, gravelly, the kind that built slow. "I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord," each word laced with the ache of too many lonely subways home, too many auditions where directors eyed his green eyes a beat too long before saying no. The room shifted, murmurs died, replaced by the soft intake of breaths. He hit the chorus, voice climbing, cracking just enough on "And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of Song," and something in the air cracked with him. Elias watched, transfixed, his scotch forgotten in his grip. The man's posture, usually a fortress of tailored wool and quiet power, softened as Rowan's timbre filled the space, wrapping around crystal stems and couture hems like a confession. By the bridge, she tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair. Rowan's eyes opened, locking onto Elias's, and in that emerald stare, Elias saw it, the hidden fracture, the talent buried under bus-by calluses and forced smiles. The final hallelujah lingered, fading into the penthouse's vaulted hush, and for a moment, the Hudson outside seemed to hold its breath. Applause erupted, sharp and sudden, but it was Elias's reaction that anchored Rowan, a slow, genuine clap that built to thunder, his face alight with something raw, unguarded. Jesus, Elias breathed, crossing the rug in 3 strides, hand extended like a lifeline. Who the hell are you? Rowan Ellis, he replied, shaking the offered palm, warm and firm, a spark jumping where their skin met. The crowd surged forward then, compliments tumbling like confetti. Where'd you study? Agent, stat. But Elias waved them off, his focus a gravitational pull. Stick around after, he murmured, low enough for only Rowan to hear. We need to talk. The night blurred after that, trays refilled, plates cleared, laughter echoing as the party swelled into after-hours haze. But Rowan's mind replayed the moment, Elias's eyes on him like spotlights, illuminating corners he'd long kept shadowed. By 2 a.m., as the last guests trickled into elevators, Maria clapped his shoulder, you saved our asses, kid, and vanished with the crew. Alone in the emptying ballroom, Rowan gathered stray napkins, the city's hum filtering through glass like a distant lullaby. Footsteps approached, deliberate. Elias, jacket slung over one shoulder, sleeves rolled to reveal forearms corded with quiet strength. You didn't have to do that, Rowan said, not looking up, folding a linen with precision. But I wanted to. Elias's voice was softer now, stripped of command. He leaned against a column, arms crossed, studying Rowan like a blueprint. I've heard 1,000 performers, Met Gala, Grammys, you name it. None of them hit like that. It's not just talent. It's truth. Rowan snorted, a defense mechanism kicking in. Truth's overrated in a place like this. Pays the rent, though. He straightened, meeting Elias's gaze, and there it was again, that pull, magnetic, dangerous. Up close, Elias was even more arresting, faint laugh lines etching his temples, a scar nicking his left brow from some boyhood scrape. Wealth clung to him like a second skin, but loneliness flickered in the blue depths, a mirror to Rowan's own. Tell me about the scar, Elias said suddenly, touching his own brow as if in echo. Rowan hesitated, then traced the line on Elias's face with a fingertip, bold, unthinking, feeling the warmth of skin, the faint stubble. Kitchen chair accident. Broke my throne. He echoed the lyric, a half-smile tugging his lips. Elias caught his hand, held it there a beat too long. Stay for breakfast. My chef does eggs Benedict that could convert atheists. It wasn't a question, but the plea in his eyes made it one. Rowan should have said no, rent due, shift at dawn, a life that didn't intersect with penthouses. But the city outside pulsed with possibility, and Elias's touch lingered like a promise. One coffee, he conceded, heart racing anew. They migrated to the kitchen, a gleaming expanse of quartz and stainless that dwarfed Rowan's entire Brooklyn War cup. Elias brewed espresso, strong and black, while Rowan perched on a stool, legs swinging like a kid's. Conversation flowed easy, Elias's rise from a single mom's trailer in Queens to Silicon Alley kingpin, the deals that devoured weekends, the relationships that fizzled under spotlights. People see the money, Elias said, sliding a mug across, not the man. You? Rowan sipped, the bitterness grounding him. Small town ghost. Dad died when I was 18, left me the bar tab and a beat-up tailor. Mom's in assisted living now, dementia's a thief. Came here for music, ended up slinging drinks. It's steady. Elias nodded, eyes tracing Rowan's mouth as he spoke. Sing something else. Just for me. The request hung, intimate in the fluorescent glow. Rowan set the mug down, voice emerging softer this time. "Blackbird, by the Beatles," a whisper of wings in the quiet. Elias listened, head tilted, and when Rowan finished, the silence stretched, charged. Then Elias closed the distance, cupping Rowan's jaw, thumb brushing his lower lip. The kiss was tentative at first, tasting of espresso and risk, then deepening as Rowan leaned in, hands fisting Elias's shirt. It was fire, slow burning, consuming, the kind that rewrote maps. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. "This is insane," Rowan murmured, but his body betrayed him, arching closer. "Insane's my specialty," Elias replied, grin wolfish. He led Rowan to the guest suite, a haven of Egyptian cotton and city views, where clothes shed like secrets. Elias's body was a revelation, lean muscle honed by private trainers, skin pale and unmarked save for a tattoo on his ribs, a compass rose, inked during a rebellious phase. Rowan's hands explored, reverent, while Elias kissed trails down his neck, murmuring praises that made Rowan's chest ache with want. Dawn crept in, painting them in rose gold, tangled and spent. "Don't vanish on me," Elias whispered, arms slung possessively over Rowan's waist. Rowan traced the tattoo, heart full to bursting. Not planning on it. But as the city woke, so did doubt, whispers of imbalance, of worlds too far apart. Still, in that stolen morning, Rowan allowed himself to dream out of stages, not trays, of love that echoed, not faded. The week that followed was a fevered dream scripted by Nora Ephron on a bender. Elias texted relentlessly, memes about bad board meetings, links to underground jazz spots in the village, invitations to galas where Rowan stood awkwardly in borrowed Armani, Elias's hand a steady anchor at his back. They stole nights in speakeasies, where Rowan's voice blended with saxophones, drawing crowds that tipped in hundreds. Elias watched always, pride swelling his chest, his touches lingering longer, possessive. "You're a force," Elias said one evening, post-performance in a dim-lit club off Bleecker, as they walked arm in arm through Washington Square Park. Leaves crunched underfoot, the arch looming like a promise. Rowan's head rested on Elias's shoulder, the wool of his coat rough against his cheek. "I want to launch you. Studio time, producers, the works." Rowan pulled back, searching those blue eyes. "Why? You barely know me." "I know enough." Elias cupped his face, kissing him slow, deep, under the park lamp's amber glow. "And I want more." Vulnerability cracked open then, Rowan's walls tumbling. He confessed the ex, Tyler's betrayal, how a leaked demo led to mockery, how trust shattered like cheap glass. Elias listened, fierce, vowing, "Not me. Never." But shadows lurked. Elias's calendar filled with transatlantic calls, his penthouse hosting networking dinners where sharp-suited men eyed Rowan like an oddity. One night, post a fundraiser for queer youth, ironic, given Elias's closet-deep secrecy, Rowan overheard a whisper in the coatroom, "Hawthorne's plaything du jour bet he ghosts by New Year's." The words lodged like thorns. That night, in bed, Rowan pressed Elias. "Are we real? Or am I just your charity case?" Elias stiffened, then softened, pulling him close. "Real as the skyline. Trust me." Rowan did, for a while. Trust-fueled late-night songwriting sessions, where Elias strummed chords on Rowan's guitar, their harmonies intertwining like bodies. Trust built a bridge over the class chasm, Elias in Rowan's cramped kitchen, burning toast, Rowan in Elias's library, reading Kerouac aloud till dawn. Yet fissures formed. Elias dodged family mentions, his phone buzzing with LA numbers that made Rowan's stomach twist. And then, the gala, black tie at the Met, Elias's arm linked with a stunning brunette, Victoria Langford, heiress to oil money, her laugh a cascade of pearls. "Business," Elias explained later, dismissing Rowan's hurt. "She's a donor. Nothing more." But the tabloids feasted, Hawthorne's mystery muse. Photos of them dancing, her head on his shoulder, while Rowan waited tables across town, gut-churning. The breaking point came mid-November, rain lashing midtown like judgment. Rowan arrived unannounced at the penthouse, soaked, a demo CD clutched in his fist, his gift, 12 tracks born of their nights. The elevator dinged open to chaos, Victoria, disheveled, emerging from the master bath, Elias in a robe, explanations tumbling. "It's not," Elias started, but Rowan was already backing away, CD shattering on the foyer tile like his resolve. "You lied," Rowan whispered, voice breaking. Rain streaked the windows, blurring the world outside. He fled into the storm, heart a storm of its own, the city's indifference swallowing him whole. Days blurred into numbness, shifts doubled, sleep evaded, guitar silent. Maria noticed, pressing coffee and concern, but Rowan waved it off. Just the blues. Truth was, betrayal echoed Tyler's ghost, amplifying the void. He busked in subways for catharsis, voice raw, passers-by dropping coins but not seeing the fracture. One night, under the fluorescent flicker of Union Square, a familiar figure emerged from the crowd, Elias, drenched, eyes red-rimmed. "Rowan, please." He dropped to his knees on the grimy platform, uncaring of the stairs, hands outstretched. Victoria was a setup. My board, my father, they're forcing a merger, a marriage clause to seal it. Tradition, legacy, bullshit. I panicked. But you're it. The only real thing. Rowan's voice cracked over the mic. Real doesn't force closets. All lies. Elias rose, closing the gap, rain mingling with tears. Then let me prove it. Publicly. Everything. The plea hung, a lifeline in the deluge. Rowan wavered, the pull undeniable, but the scar too fresh. I need time. Elias nodded, retreating into the night, leaving Rowan with echoes and an ache that deepened with every chord. Winter clamped down on New York like a vice, the wind off the East River knifing through Rowan's threadbare coat as he trudged from the diner to his walk up in Bushwick. November's chill had seeped into his bones, mirroring the frost that had settled over his heart since the penthouse implosion. 2 weeks now, and Elias's texts, poetic pleas, song lyrics scribbled in haste, piled up unread, a digital graveyard of what ifs. Rowan deleted them in batches, each swipe a small exorcism, but the ghost lingered, haunting the empty side of his bed, the silent strings of his guitar. Work was a mercy and a curse. The diner, a greasy spoon called Luna's on Knickerbocker Avenue, served as his confessional, hash browns for the hungover, coffee for the insomniacs, and for Rowan, a rhythm to drown the what ifs. Maria had pulled strings for him there after the catering fiasco, her maternal gruffness a balm. That rich boy's got you twisted, hey, she'd say, sliding him an extra shift, her eyes sharp behind cat-eye glasses. Yeah, Rowan admitted one slow afternoon, wiping counters slick with syrup residue. The place smelled of bacon fat and nostalgia, Formica tables scarred from decades of elbows and arguments. Outside, snow flurried, blanketing the stoops in reluctant white. Feels like I handed him my soul on a platter, and he used it for coasters. Maria chuckled, low and knowing, flipping burgers with a spatula scarred from overuse. Men like him, shiny on the outside, rot in the core sometimes. But you? You've got fire, kid. Don't let one blaze snuff it. Her word stuck, a ember in the cold. That night, alone in his studio apartment, walls paper thin, radiator clanking like Morse code, Rowan unearthed the guitar from its closet exile. Dust motes danced in the desk lamp's glow as he tuned, fingers tentative at first, then gaining ground. The melody came halting, a new song, born of betrayal's bitter fruit, verses weaving Elias's touch with Victoria's shadow. You built me a castle of lies with turrets of alibis and I sang your praises to the sky and now I'm falling, wonder why. He recorded it rough on his phone, voice cracking on the bridge, raw as an open wound. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with penthouse silk and subway grime, Elias's face morphing from lover to liar. Morning brought a curveball, a call from an unknown number, crisp and corporate. Mr. Ellis? This is Lena from Hawthorne Ventures. Mr. Hawthorne insists you attend the holiday launch event. Private car will collect you at 7. Rowan's pulse spiked, fork hovering over his cereal. Tell him no thanks. We're done. A pause, then Lena's voice, edged with sympathy. He mentioned your talent. We've got a stage. Acoustic set. No strings attached, pun intended. The bait hook deep. A stage. Not some backroom MIC, but legitimacy. Rowan hung up, warring with himself. Pride screamed retreat, ambition whispered one last stand. By dusk, he was in the mirror, scrubbing stubble, combing tousled brown into something presentable, a thrift store blazer over his diner tee. For the music, he told his reflection, green eyes defiant. Not him. The car, a sleek black Lincoln, glided through festooned streets, Christmas lights twinkling like mocking stars. The venue was the Oculus at the World Trade Center, a skeletal cathedral of steel and glass, transformed for the launch into a wonderland of projections and hors d'oeuvres. Tech bros in cashmere mingled with venture capitalists, air buzzing with buzzwords, blockchain, disrupt, scale. Rowan stepped out, breath fogging, and there was Elias, flanked by suits, but eye seeking, finding. He looked wrecked, hollow-cheeked, tie loosened, the billionaire sheen cracked. You came, Elias said, voice rough, guiding Rowan through the throng with a hand at his elbow, light, tentative. For the set, Rowan clarified, shrugging off the touch, though his skin tingled. Don't read into it. Elias nodded, swallowing hard. Fair. The green room's this way. Victoria's not. Save it. Rowan cut him off, steel in his spine. The green room was a cocoon of velvet couches and vanity mirrors, a far cry from Luna's back alley. A tech handed him a set list, 5 songs, open MIC, and Rowan's gut twisted. Elias hovered, then retreated with a murmured, break a leg. The stage waited, a platform amid holographic displays of Hawthorne's latest app, some AI matchmaker for authentic connections, ironic as hell. The MC announced him, a special debut, Rowan Ellis, and the crowd hushed, polite curiosity rippling. Rowan gripped the stool, acoustic in lap, and dove in with the new song, Castle of Lies. His voice filled the vaulted space, clear and cutting, lyrics landing like indictments. You whispered forever in the dark lit matches to my guarded heart, but embers turn to ash so fast when the wind of truth blows past. Gasps echoed, heads turned toward Elias, who stood rigid at the bar, face ashen. Rowan poured it out, the hurt, the hope, the hollow, eyes locked on the middle distance, avoiding the blue stare that burned. By the closer, so here's to the ruins we leave behind and the songs that heal what's unaligned, tears pricked, but he held, voice soaring to the rafters. Applause thundered, genuine, electric. Phones lifted, capturing, whispers turned to chants, encore. Rowan obliged with hallelujah, the familiar balm, and as the final note died, Elias was there, pushing through, microphone in hand. Rowan, he said into the MIC, voice amplified, trembling. That was you. And I owe you this. He turned to the crowd, breath steadying. I'm Elias Hawthorne. And I'm gay. Have been since I could name it. This man, this voice, showed me hiding's no life. So here's to authenticity. He dropped the MIC, static crackling, and pulled Rowan into a kiss, fierce, unapologetic, under the Oculus's watchful ribs. The room exploded, cheers, flashes, a few shocked murmurs. Rowan kissed back, salt and sweetness mingling, the world narrowing to Elias's grip, the truth tasting like victory. Aftermath was whirlwind, headlines by midnight, Billionaire comes out with a song, reporters swarming the curb as security ushered them to the Lincoln. In the backseat, hands linked, Elias confessed all, the merger clause, Victoria's complicity as Beard, the board's ultimatums. I chose you. Stock dipped 5%. Worth every penny. Rowan leaned into him, exhaustion warring with elation. Don't make me regret this. Never again. Elias's vow sealed with another kiss, the city lights streaking past like shooting stars. Reconnection was tentative, textured. They started slow, coffee at Luna's, where Maria grilled Elias over pie, her skepticism thawing under his earnest charm. Hurt him, you're out the door, she warned, fork pointed like a dagger. Elias nodded, solemn, and cleared plates without complaint. Nights rebuilt brick by brick. Elias's penthouse, once a symbol of disparity, became shared ground. Rowan composed at the grand piano, Elias listening from the rug, head in lap. Lovemaking rediscovered urgency, tender edges, Elias tracing Rowan's scars, real and imagined, with lips and whispers. "You're my north," he'd say, fingers in Rowan's hair, the compass tattoo a vow against his skin. But reconciliation's glow dimmed under scrutiny's glare. Paparazzi camped Elias's lobby, tabloids dissecting, from closet to catwalk, Hawthorne's hunky muse. Rowan's inbox flooded, offers from labels, invites to pride panels, but laced with venom, trolls calling him gold digger, pretty prop. One night, scrolling in bed, Rowan hurled his phone, screen cracking against the wall. "It's poison," he said, curling away as Elias reached. "They see us as spectacle, not us." Elias pulled him back, arms iron bands. "Then we rewrite the script. Come to the family estate. Meet them on our terms." The invitation terrified. Elias's roots, a sprawling compound in the Hamptons, old money woven into wainscoting and whispers. "They'll hate me," Rowan protested, but Elias's eyes, pleading, fierce, won out. Holiday weekend arrived, snow dusting the dunes like powdered sugar. The drive east was charged, radio humming carols, Elias's hand on Rowan's thigh a steady pulse. The estate loomed, Georgian revival, columns like sentinels, stables echoing with thoroughbred knickers. Elias's father, Reginald, silver-haired patriarch, eyes like chipped flint, greeted at the door, handshake firm but cool. "Heard you've got a voice," Reginald said, no warmth. His mother, Claire, air-kissed cheeks, her smile practiced, pearls a barrier. Dinner was a minefield, crystal clinking, silverware scraping, conversation skirting edges. Text volatile, Reginald opined, carving roast. Mergers stabilize. Traditions endure. Elias's jaw tightened. Traditions evolve, Dad. Like me. Silence fell, heavy as the holly swags. Claire's fork paused, Reginald's gaze sharpened on Rowan. "And you, son? What do you bring besides ballads?" Rowan met it square, voice steady. "Truth. The kind that doesn't bend for balance sheets." Post-meal exodus to the library, leather-bound tomes, fire crackling. Elias cornered Rowan by the bay window, ocean crashing beyond. "Sorry. There. Relics." But Rowan saw the fracture, Elias's love laced with apology, a weight unspoken. That night, in the guest wing's four-poster, Rowan initiated, slow and searching, bodies aligning like lyrics to melody. "I love you," he breathed against Elias's neck, the words a bridge over chasms. "Love you more," Elias echoed, holding tight as if adrift. Dawn brought reckoning, Reginald summoned Elias to the study, voices rising, boards revolt, stock plunge, your legacy, punctuated by slammed doors. Rowan eavesdropped from the hall, heart sinking as Elias emerged, defeated. He gave an ultimatum, her or the empire. Rowan's world tilted. "Choose." Elias's face crumpled. "I can't lose you." But the choice loomed, a guillotine. They fled back to the city, Hamptons fading in the rear view, silence a third passenger. Holiday cheer mocked from storefronts, tinsel, twinkles, as they parted at Rowan's door, kiss goodbye tasting of farewell. Solitude hit like withdrawal. Rowan threw into music, demoing furiously, Luna's shifts a blur. Elias called daily, voice frayed, "Give me time." But time stretched, thin as ice. Then, Christmas Eve, the knock at midnight. Elias, snow-dusted, box in hand, a ring, simple platinum, engraved with a lyric, "Hallelujah in your eyes." "I quit the board. Told Dad to shove the merger. It's us or nothing." Relief flooded, hot and healing. They tumbled inside, making love by tree lights, vows whispered in the glow. But dawn brought reality, headlines of Hawthorne's meltdown, shares tanking, Reginald's public disownment. Worth it? Elias's eyes said yes. Rowan's heart echoed, fragile but full. Yet peace proved fleeting. New Year's loomed, and with it, temptations, Victoria's olive branch, laced with leverage, join us, stabilize, whispered to Elias at a neutral brunch. Rowan walked in on the tail end, mishearing intent as invitation. Trust fractured anew. Again? Rowan stormed, coat grabbed. I can't. Elias chased into the street, fireworks bursting overhead. No, hear me. But Rowan ran, subway-bound, the city's pulse drowning sobs. Alone in his apartment, he strummed fury into song, a ballad of broken hallelujahs. January's jaw clenched tighter than a debtor's fist, New York streets glazed with black ice that mirrored the slick chill in Rowan's veins. The argument's echo lingered like smoke, Victoria's name a poison dart lodged deep. He'd crashed at Maria's that night, a fold-out in her Astoria railroad flat, the sizzle of bacon her unwitting alarm clock, but by morning, resolve hardened, space, not surrender. Elias's voicemails piled, each more ragged, baby, it was a trap, she cornered me, but Rowan powered off, diving into distraction. The distraction? An offer from a Brooklyn indie label, sparked by the Oculus clip. Raw talent, the A&R guy, Jax, a tattooed vet with a man bun and zero bullshit, had emailed. Demos killer. Studio time next week. No suits, just soul. It was a lifeline, tethering Rowan to purpose amid the personal wreckage. He accepted, channeling betrayal into tracks, Ice on the Vine, a slow-burn dirge about love's slow thaw, voice dipping low like a confession booth. Studio sessions became sanctuary, a converted warehouse in Gowanus where exposed brick absorbed screams and strings. Jax paced, nodding approval as Rowan layered vocals, sweat beading under the baffles. That's the hurt talking, Jax said post-take, cracking a beer. Lean in. Audiences eat pain. Pain. Yeah. It fueled him, but starved him too, sleepless nights replaying Elias's pleas, the ring box abandoned on Rowan's kitchen table like a discarded vow. Friends noticed, at a low-key open mic in Park Slope, his bandmate Lena, drummer with a pixie cut and perpetual smirk, pulled him aside. You look like death warmed over, Row spill. He did, over post-set IPAs, the bar's jukebox crooning Springsteen. He's fighting for us, but the world's fighting him. And I'm tired of being collateral. Lena squeezed his arm, her grip fierce. Then fight for you. Music's your armor, remember? Armor. The word circled back to his mom's whispers, a talisman against the tide. He texted Elias one curt line, need space. Focus on the album. The reply buzzed instant, whatever you need. I love you. It stung, sweet and sharp. Meanwhile, Elias navigated his own inferno. Hawthorne Ventures teetered, boardroom coups brewing like thunderheads. Reginald's dissonance had rippled, investors pulling funds, headlines branding him reckless romantic. But Elias doubled down, pivoting the company toward queer-inclusive tech, apps for safe dating in hostile cities, AI therapists for outed youth. Legacy my way, he told his reflection in the penthouse mirror, tie discarded, the space echoing without Rowan's clutter, guitar picks on the counter, sheet music on the couch. He sought counsel from unlikely quarters, a therapist named Dr. Hale, a no-nonsense queer elder with a Park Avenue practice and a penchant for tough love. You weaponized your closet, Hale said over chamomile steam, glasses perched low. Now wield your openness like a sword. But first, forgive yourself. Forgiveness was Elias's mountain. He wrote letters, dozens, unsent, pouring out fears, the Queen's trailer where he'd hidden crushes on the neighbor boy, the Ivy League closet that choked authenticity. One night, whisker loose, he mailed one to Rowan, pages of vulnerability, ending, "You're my hallelujah. Wait for me." Rowan received it mid-February, Valentine's shadow looming. Alone in the studio, post a brutal 12-hour cut, he read by console glow, tears blurring ink. The words pierced, Elias's boyhood ache mirroring his own small-town silences. But trust scar tissue pulled tight. He pocketed it, unfinished. The album coalesced, 10 tracks of grit and grace, titled Echoes Uncloseted. Jax pushed for a launch party, intimate, warehouse vibe, in early March. Invite the ex, he joked, but his eyes were serious. Catharsis sells. Rowan did, terse, show if you want. Music first. Elias's yes came swift, laced with emojis, nervous, hopeful. Launch night crackled with Brooklyn's underbelly pulse, fairy lights strung over kegs, murals splashed in neon, a crowd of scenesters and supporters spilling onto the floor. Rowan paced backstage, heart hammering, black jeans and a vintage tee his armor. Lena drummed a warm-up, Jax hyping the MIC check. Then, Elias arrived, solo, in faded Levi's and a Henley that hugged his frame, no billionaire gloss. Their eyes met across the throng, a current arcing. Elias mouthed, proud, and Rowan nodded, throat tight. The set ignited, opener, Castle of Lies, drew whoops, the crowd swaying like reeds. Rowan poured sweat and soul, voice soaring on ice on the vine, lyrics flaying old wounds. Midway, a cover, Wicked Game, Chris Isaac's haunt, voice dipping sultry, eyes finding Elias in the dim, their gaze a private duet. The room vanished, it was just them, the song a bridge over the breach. Encore called, Rowan closed with a new one, unwritten till that moment, Thor. Frozen fingers on your skin, melted by the where we've been, no more altars, no more fights, just us chasing morning lights. Voice broke on the bridge, raw, real, and Elias was there, front row, tears tracking his cheeks, nodding like a man redeemed. Post-set, the crush enveloped, hugs from strangers, cards from scouts, Jax beaming like a proud dad. But Rowan sought Elias, finding him by the bar, nursing a seltzer. That last one, Elias started, voice thick, was. For us, Rowan finished, stepping close, the bass thrum vibrating between them. If you still want. Elias's hand found his waist, pulling flush. Always. The kiss was public, unhurried, lips meeting soft, then insistent, the crowd whooping approval. Whistles, claps, a phone flashed, but they ignored, lost in reunion's heat. After party spilled into afterglow, they tumbled to Elias's place, barriers crumbling. Clothes shed in the foyer, Elias's mouth mapping Rowan's collarbone, hands reverent. Missed this, Elias murmured against his hip, breath hot. Rowan arched, fingers in golden hair, guiding. Show me. They moved to the bedroom, bodies sinking like forgotten choreography, slow grinds building to frenzy, gasps mingling with city sirens. Elias entered him deliberate, eyes locked, love you a mantra on every thrust. Rowan shattered first, cry muffled in pillow, Elias following with a guttural groan, collapsing tangled. Dawn found them lazy, sheets twisted, coffee brewing. Board stabilized, Elias shared, tracing Rowan's spine. Pivoted to your kind of authentic. And Dad. Called. Grudging olive branch. Rowan propped on elbow, green eyes searching. You fought. For us. Elias's smile was sunrise. But shadows lingered, Victoria's shadow loomed, her lawsuit whispers, breach of contract, emotional distress, filing in tabloids. First crack, a deposition notice, slipped under Elias's door. She's suing for defamation, his lawyer explained over speaker, Elias's face draining. Claims your coming out slandered her engagement. Rowan overheard from the kitchen, mug slipping, shattering. This because of me. No, Elias started, but the seed planted, doubt sprouting thorns. Tension simmered. Elias buried in calls, Rowan in promo, interviews where reporters probed, is Hawthorne your muse or your meal ticket? Smiles strained, nights cooling to civil. Climax brewed at a Pride fundraiser Elias hosted, Penthouse reborn as Rainbow Haven, donors mingling with activists. Rowan performed, voice electric, but offstage, Victoria crashed, elegant in red, flanked by paparazzi. Darling, she cooed, air-kissing Elias, we need to talk settlement. Flashbulbs popped, gasps rippled. Rowan froze by the bar, world tilting. Elias paled, steering her away, but not before her whisper carried, end it with the waiter, or the suit drags him too. Betrayal's echo roared. Rowan slipped out, elevator descent a free fall. Streets blurred, tears hot, hailing a cab to Bushwick. Door locked, phone silenced, he curled fetal, sobs racking. Elias pounded later, open up, please. But Rowan stayed stone, heart a fortress rebuilt. Morning brought resolve, a note slid under door, I handled it. She's dropped. Come home. But home felt fractured. Rowan texted, need to heal solo. Love you, but not now. Elias's reply, heartbreak in pixels. Separation stretched, a chasm widening. Spring unfurled in hesitant greens across Central Park, dogwoods blushing pink against the skyline steel resolve, but Rowan's world remained monochrome, leached of color by the chasm's expanse. April marked a month of radio silence with Elias, 30 days of deliberate distance, each dawn a negotiation with the ache. He'd sublet his walk-up, crashing deeper into Bushwick's artist co-op, a third-floor walk-up shared with Lena and Jax, walls vibrating with bass from basement rehearsals, air thick with turpentine and takeout. Healing Tour, Lena dubbed it, stocking the fridge with his favorites, craft IPAs, vegan faux kits, her tough love hugs a constant. Music became Salvation's scaffold. Echo's Uncloseted dropped mid-month, vinyl spinning in indie shops from Williamsburg to the Lower East Side. Reviews trickled gold, Pitchfork called it a queer odyssey of quiet revolutions, the Village Voice praising Ellis's baritone as a velvet hammer to heartbreak's door. Streams climbed, radio play followed, tiny stations first, then a spot on WNYC's Sound Check, where host Kristen Gallardo grilled him live, this album feels like a breakup letter. Who's the news? Rowan leaned into the mic, studio lights warm on his face, voice steady. Someone who taught me love's worth the scars. And the space after. Listeners flooded lines, stories of closets cracked, hearts mended. One call, a teen from the Bronx, voice quavering, your songs made coming out less scary, left Rowan teary, signing off with a cover of True Colors, Cyndi Lauper's anthem abridged to his own buried boy. Elias, meanwhile, waged war on multiple fronts. The lawsuit crumbled, Victoria's bluff called, her team folding under scrutiny, but fallout lingered, Reginald's final severance, a curt email dissolving trusts, leaving Elias's net worth halved overnight. Freedom's price, he told Dr. Hale in session, voice edged with defiance. But without him, it's hollow. Hale's advice, pursue parallel. Build without clinging. Elias heeded, channeling energy into the pivot, Hawthorne's new arm, Authentics, launched with grants for LGBTQ+ creators, podcasts, apps, art collectives. He mentored quietly, attending mixers in Chelsea galleries, his presence a quiet force. Whispers followed, Hawthorne's softer now. Human. But nights were voids, Penthouse a mausoleum of memories, Rowan's hoodie on the chair, a half-read novel by the bed. Reentree attempted subtly, Elias sent flowers to the co-op, wildflowers, not orchids, with a note, bloom where planted. Yours. Rowan stared, stem in hand, then arranged them by the window, petals a tentative truce. Then, tickets, front row for Rowan's album release show at Bowery Ballroom, anonymous at first, but the seat empty spoke volumes. The show was catharsis incarnate. May's humidity clung like regret, the venue a sweatbox of sold-out souls, queer families, hipsters, a smattering of curious straights. Rowan took stage in ripped jeans and a threadbare tee, guitar slung low, band tight behind. Opener built buzz, then his set, echoes in full, voice a river carving stone. Thought midway, I scanning the crowd, landing on, no Elias. Disappointment flickered, masked in melody. But encore, unplugged hallelujah, spotlight solo, Rowan's falter on the bridge drawing breaths held. As the chord resolved, a figure rose from shadows, Elias, slipping in late, eyes locked, mouthing along. The song swelled, a private serenade amid the public, and when Rowan finished, bow deep, Elias was at stage edge, hand extended up. Backstage chaos, hugs, champagne pops, Jack's crowing sales stats. Rowan pulled Elias aside, green meeting blue in the green room's haze. You came. Couldn't miss your triumph. Elias's smile was tentative, hands pocketed to restrain reach. You're brilliant. Deserve the world. Rowan stepped closer, scent of cedar pulling like gravity. World's lonely without anchors. The kiss ignited slow, backstage door clicked shut, bodies pressing against cinderblock. Elias's hands roamed familiar paths, eliciting gasps. Rowan's nails dug crescents into shoulders. Missed you, Elias growled, lifting him onto a crate, mouths frantic. But Rowan paused, foreheads pressed. Slow. We're fragile. They retreated to the co-op, Lena's wink approving as they passed. Night unfolded deliberate, undressing by candle flicker, touches exploratory, relearning curves. Elias kissed scars, whispering litanies. Rowan straddled, guiding rhythm, their union amending. Home, Rowan breathed climax, Elias's release a shuddering amen. Rebuilding was textured, layered like a fine track. Mornings, coffee rituals, Elias learning oat milk foam art, failures laughed off. Afternoons, joint ventures, Elias shadowing studio sessions, his business brain tweaking promo, Rowan's heart infusing soul. Evenings, walks in Prospect Park, hands linked, dodging joggers, sharing silences that spoke volumes. Conflict simmered low. Elias's world intruded, a gala invite from old allies, neutral ground promised. Rowan tagged along, stealing for scrutiny. The plaza's ballroom glittered, chandeliers dripping, gowns swishing, but undercurrent swirled. Reginald cornered Elias by the punch, ruining us for a fling. It's love, Dad. End of. Elias's voice was ice, but Rowan felt the quake, hand squeezing reassurance. Later, alone on a balcony, city sprawl below, Rowan voiced the undercurrent. He'll never accept. Elias pulled him close, wind tousling hair. His loss. We've got our tribe. Tribe grew, Maria hosted dinners, her Astoria table groaning with empanadas. Jax and Lena became fixtures, quartet jamming in the co-op till dawn. Elias opened up, boyhood tales of hidden kisses in Queens alleys, the ivy pressure that forged his armor. Rowan reciprocated, Vermont winters, Dad's bar harmonicas, Mom's fading lullabies. Intimacy deepened, boundaries blurred. One weekend, they escaped to Elias's upstate cabin, a A-frame in the Catskills, wood smoke and whispers. No signals, just them, hiking leaf-strewn trails, Rowan strumming by the lake, Elias sketching lyrics in a notebook. Lovemaking by firelight, bodies gilded, Elias entering from behind, slow rocks building to crescendo, Rowan's cries echoing off pines. Forever. Elias asked after, spent and sated. Let's aim high, Rowan teased, but his heart echoed yes. Yet storms gathered. Authentics boomed, but rivals circled, a competitor poaching talent, whispers of sabotage tied to Reginald's old guard. Elias stressed, snapping over smalls, a late text, a cancelled plan. Pressure's crushing, he admitted one night, head in hands. Rowan knelt, hands on knees. Lean on me. Not lash. Apology sealed with tenderness, but fractures webbed. Then, the bomb, a leaked email chain, Victoria's revenge, forged docs painting Elias's coming out as PR stunt for album promo, implicating Rowan as complicit. Headline screamed, Hawthorne's queer cash grab. Backlash hit hard, protests at Authentics offices, sponsors fleeing, Rowan streams dipping under boycott calls. Rowan confronted in the penthouse, printouts crumpled. They think I'm using you. Elias paced, fury etched. It's lies. We'll sue. But the damage, Rowan's voice broke, fear coiling. What if it's too much? Doubt seed sprouted, conversation circling drains. Nights cooled, touches tentative. One argument escalated, Elias accusing paranoia, Rowan hurling closet echoes, ending in slammed doors, Rowan fleeing to the co-op. Solitude again, sharper. Rowan busked Central Park, voice event, strangers coins a cold comfort. Elias texted amends, but Rowan ghosted, healing's edge blunted. Turning point, a call from Mom's facility. She's asking for you, Row songs. The old ones. Visit to Vermont, nursing home hushed, mom's eyes cloudy but lighting at his voice. He sang a blackbird, hand in hers, tears shared. Proud, baby, she whispered, lucid flicker. Love finds its way. Back in New York, resolve crystallized. He called Elias, meet me. Bowery. Neutral. Reunion under marquee lights, rain misting. I ran because fear won, Rowan said, hands out. But love's the fight. Elias pulled him in, kiss ceiling. Together. Always. But the leak's shadow loomed, demanding confrontation. Summer's humidity wrapped Manhattan in a steam bath, air conditioners humming dirges as Rowan and Elias forged ahead, the leaked scandal a spectre they exorcised step by gritty step. June brought counterstrikes, a joint presser in a sun-drenched Soho loft, mics clustered like vultures. Elias, sleeves rolled, spoke first, voice steel-wrapped velvet, those docs are forgeries, a desperate bid to undermine what we've built. Authentic stands for truth, so do we. Rowan followed, green eyes fierce, my music's my truth. Our love's the chorus. Haters gonna hate, we'll harmonize louder. Clips went viral, supporters rallying, petitions, fan art flooding feeds, a surprise collab with a queer icon, Sam Smith, duetting Thought on Fallon, their voices twining like vines. Streams rebounded, Authentic stabilized with ethical investors. But victory tasted bittersweet, trust's rebuild was marathon, not sprint. Daily life wove intimacy's web. Mornings, Elias's penthouse kitchen, Rowan scrambling eggs while Elias scrolled briefs, feet tangled under the island. Past the sriracha, Rowan teased, stealing a kiss mid-bite, Elias's laugh rumbling low. Afternoons, hybrid hustles, Rowan touring small venues upstate, Elias tagging along incognito, road tripping in a rented Jeep, windows down, playlist shuffling their shared demos. One detour, Niagara Falls, mist-shrouded, barreling over in a made-of-the-mist poncho, hands clasped against the roar. Like us, Elias shouted over thunder, unstoppable. That night, in a creaky B&B, they made love with waterfall urgency, Elias pinning Rowan to the four-poster, thrusts deep and driving, Rowan's legs wrapped, nails raking back. Unbreakable, Rowan gasped release, Elias following with a bitten-off cry. Back home, depths plumbed. Therapy tandem, Dr. Hale's office, a neutral ground of ferns and frankness. Sessions dissected, Elias's legacy wounds, Rowan's abandonment echoes, emerging raw but bonded. You're my safe harbor, Elias confessed post-one, cab ride home, hand on thigh. Rowan's reply, a song, harbor lights, acoustic gift over dinner, candlelit balcony, Hudson glittering below. Voice soft, storytelling, in the storm you held the line-air anchor in this heart of mine. Elias teared, pulling him onto lap, kiss deepening to dessert skipped. Conflicts crested subtle. Elias's travel ramped, Berlin for Authentic Summit, Tokyo for investor meets, leaving Rowan to solo gigs, voids filled with late calls, miss your voice. Sing me to sleep. But jet lag frayed tempers, a missed anniversary, Elias's flight delay, a spark texts turned terse, priorities, her. It's work for us. Makeup via video, Elias in a Tokyo ryokan, Rowan in sweats, apologies laced with laughter. Fly home. Fix it proper. Reunion airport dash, Elias emerging customs, duffel slung, Rowan waiting with sign, Mr. Hawthorne, report for cuddles. Limo to penthouse, privacy partition up, hands wandering, Elias's fingers unzipping, Rowan's mouth teasing till gasp. Home, shower steam and skin, Elias soaping Rowan's back, whispers turning moans, wall-pressed union slick and sweet. Yet undercurrents stirred. Reginald's silence broke, a letter, formal vellum, inviting reconciliation brunch in the Hamptons. Family men's, it read, postscript, bring the boy. Elias wavered, showing Rowan over wine. Trap or truce? Rowan sipped, considering. Go. But I'm your +1. No hiding. Brunch unfolded under striped awnings, ocean breeze carrying salt and tension. Claire fussed over quiches, Reginald's gaze appraising Rowan over bifocals. Music career, he grunted, napkin folded precise. Volatile. Like tech, Rowan countered, fork steady. But passion pays in ways fortunes can't. Elias squeezed his knee under linen, pride electric. Dialogue danced, Reginald probing Authentic's metrics, Claire sharing garden clippings, thawing to tentative toasts. Drive home, Elias exhaled, he shook your hand. Progress. Rowan grinned. Baby steps. Like us. Summer peaked in festivals, Rowan set at Governor's Ball, Central Park blaze, Elias front row with earplugs, cheering hoarse. Post-show, VIP tent haze, they slipped away to a blanket under oaks, stargazing till security shooed. Lovemaking impromptu, Elias's jacket ground cover, Rowan's hand muffling moans, rhythm synced to distant bass. But autumn's whisper brought storm. A rival exec, slick, vengeful, Reginald's proxy, leaked Elias's health scare, a panic attack mid-meeting, spun as breakdown from boyfriend drama. Stocks dipped, media frenzy, is love killing Hawthorne? Elias crumbled private, penthouse pacing, Scotch neat, they weaponize everything. Rowan held him through night sweats, body spooning, we're steel. Public pushback, Rowan penned op-ed for The Atlantic, love's not liability, Elias backing with authentic statement. Backlash boomeranged, allyship surged, but paranoia seeded. Elias withdrew, cancelling dates, Rowan pushed, don't let them win. Clash ignited over a Berlin invite, solo, Elias insisted. Protect you from jet-set vultures. Partners don't solo storms, Rowan fired, hurt Lansing. Door slam exit, co-op refuge. Days stretched taut. Elias's calls, sorry. Fear talking. Rowan's, fight it. With me. Reconciliation via gesture, Elias at Rowan's solo acoustic night in a village cellar, bouquet of wildflowers, seat saved. Post-set, alley embrace, rain starting. Partners, Elias vowed, kiss ceiling. But the scare lingered, a hairline fracture. October chilled, leaves flaming, and a new threat emerged, an anonymous tip to Elias's PI, Rowan's past unearthed, Tyler's LA dirt, Ellis's ex claims abuse, revenge album. False, vicious, Tyler's spite, paid proxy. Paparazzi swarmed Rowan's gigs, Mike's thrusting, abuser. Rowan fled stage mid-song, backstage sobs, calling Elias, they're destroying me. Elias arrived feral, lawyer in tow, suing for libel. But damage seeped, fans doubting, gigs cancelled. Rowan spiraled, guitar abandoned, diner shifts numb. Rock bottom, a bar binge in Bushwick, shots blurring Tyler's ghost, Elias's faith. Lena dragged him home, ice packed to eye from a stumble. Dawn called to Elias, can't breathe. Help. Elias there instant, bundling him to the penthouse, doctor summoned, exhaustion, not collapse. Bedside vigil, Elias's hand in hair, will burn it down. Together. Healing arc bent, therapy intensified, Rowan unpacking Tyler's gaslight, Elias his enabler guilt. Joint statement, lies can't touch truth. Tyler recanted, sued to silence. Winter loomed, but warmth kindled. Thanksgiving at Maria's, Elias carving turkey, awkward charm winning laughs. Post-feast walk, hands gloved, snow flaking. Grateful for fractures, Rowan said. They forge stronger. Elias kiss mitten palm. To us. But Reginald's shadow lengthened, a final offer, empire reinstatement if Elias reconsiders lifestyle. Temptation whispered, Elias confessed over mulled wine, heard him out. For closure. Rowan's gut twisted. And? Declined. You're my empire. Trust rebuilt, layer by layer. Christmas, cabin return, tree trimmed with lyric scraps, gifts unwrapped slow, Elias's, custom guitar, inlaid compass. Rowan's, tattoo voucher, hallelujah, scripted on rib. New Year's Eve, Times Square periphery, crowds roar distant, rooftop toast. To Uncharted, Elias clinked, pulling close. Fireworks burst, mirroring pulses as they kissed into midnight. Yet 2026 dawned with underbelly rumble, authentics hack, data breach exposing user stories, queer confessions leaked. Blame arrowed, insider job, Reginald's hand suspected. Elias rage boardroom, Rowan consoled, rebuild better. Crisis forged alliance, but exhaustion etched lines. One night, post all-nighter, Elias snapped, you don't get the stakes. Rowan recoiled. I get loving you means losing pieces. Space again, Rowan to Vermont, Mom's side, singing carols to her smiles. Solitude clarified, love's not loss, but choice. Return, airport reunion, words unspoken, bodies speaking, penthouse frenzy, Elias on knees, worshipful, Rowan's forgiveness in gasps. Spring 2026, Bloom. Album 2 brewing, authentics fortified. But Reginald's final play, heart attack, hospital call. Come, Claire begged. Elias went, Rowan insisting along. Bedside vigil, Reginald frail, monitors beeping. Proud, he rasped to Elias, eyes on Rowan. Both. Deathbed grace, mending incomplete but real. Funeral, Hampton's grey, eulogies stayed. Post, Elias to Rowan, free. They scattered ashes at sea, boat rocking, hands linked. New chapter, Rowan said. Back, life pulsed, tour dates, product launches, love's rhythm steady. But subtle shifts, Elias's wanderlust, Rowan's rising star pulling orbits. 1 July dawn, post-Glastron sail, Elias proposed, not ring, but vow, build with me? Life, label, all. Rowan yes, kiss salt tanged. But horizon hinted storms, fame's glare, past ghosts. Autumn 2026 painted the Hudson in fire and rust, leaves spiraling like unanswered prayers as Rowan and Elias navigated the post-Reginald thaw, a fragile piece laced with unspoken griefs. The estate sale had been clinical, auctioneers cataloguing heirlooms, Claire retreating to Palm Beach with a check and chill. Elias inherited fragments, a pocket watch, the compass sketchbook, but the real legacy was liberation, chains snapped, though phantom weights lingered in his stride. Their life, meanwhile, accelerated into a duet of triumphs. Rowan's sophomore album, Fracture Hymns, dropped to acclaim, Billboard bumps, a tiny desk invite where his voice, richer now, wove vulnerability with velocity. Elias produced interstitials for Authentics' podcast arm, interviewing queer trailblazers, his baritone a steady anchor. Joint ventures bloomed, a co-founded foundation, Echo Alliances, funneling funds to small-town arts programs, Vermont barns turned venues, Brooklyn kids with guitars. Daily cadence hummed intimate. Mornings in the penthouse, Elias blending smoothies, Rowan journaling lyrics on the balcony, city awakening below. Read it, Elias prompted one crisp October day, chin on shoulder. Rowan cleared throat, voice tentative, in the bend of your breaking we find the mending's making. Elias hummed approval, kissed a temple escalating, counter perch, Rowan's legs circling waist, hands wandering under tees. Inspire more, Elias murmured, nipping earlobe, leading to bedroom detour, slow, exploratory, fingers first, then tongue, Rowan's back arching off silk, climax a shuddered yes. Afternoons diverged, Rowan in studios, Elias in co-works, evenings converging, dinner at hole-in-walls, hands across checkered cloths, or penthouse feasts, take-out Thai with Netflix binges. Therapy sustained, monthly check-ins with Hale, dissecting dreams, Elias's of falling empires, Rowan's of silent songs, emerging tighter, threads reinforced. But grief's undercurrent rippled. Claire's call sporadic, laced with your father would. Elias deflected, but Rowan saw the flinch. One night, post a foundation gala, black tie schmooze, toasts to progress, Elias unraveled in the limo, she cornered me. Settle down proper. Like I'm defective. Rowan pulled him close, traffic honking distant. You're whole. With me. Validation via action, weekend getaway to Fire Island, dunes, and discretion. Boardwalk strolls hand in hand, no stairs, beach bonfires, guitars strumming till embers died. Lovemaking under stars, Elias topping, waves crashing sink, Rowan's cry sand muffled, release a cosmic bloom. Return invigorated, but fame's friction heated. Rowan's tour booked, cross-country, 20 dates, arenas swelling. Come for halves, he urged, but Elias's calendar clashed, Authentic's expansion to Europe, summits in London, Berlin. Video dates, Elias promised, but time zones frayed, 3 a.m. calls, static-laced, I love yous. First crack, Chicago stop, post-show high, Rowan FaceTiming from Green Room Green. Elias, Amsterdam hotel, bleary, killed the pitch. Miss you. Rowan grinned, sweat damp. Proud. Sing duet. But interruption, Elias's assistant knocking, deal whispers, cut short. Later. Elias mouthed, disconnecting. Rowan stared blank screen, isolation creeping. Patterns etched, texts delayed, plans pivoted. Denver, Rowan vented to opener, a burly folkie named Tate, feels like orbiting. Tate clapped shoulder. Stars align or burn out. Took it. Call home mid-flight, we're drifting. Elias's voice crackled over Rockies. Tour's temporary. Europe's building our future. Our. Rowan pressed. Or yours? Defensive spike, don't start. I'm grinding for us. Disconnect raw, Rowan landed LA hollow, Tyler's old haunt, ghosts prowling. Gig electric, but backstage, a fan's note, your pain's power. Don't lose it. Echoed his fear, success smoothing edges, love dulling. Meanwhile, Elias soloed shadows. London nights, pub pints with XX, accents blurring, a flirtatious colleague, Finn, Irish charm, green eyes like Rowan's, lingering post-meet. You're glowing, Finn said, pint clinking. Elias rebuffed polite, but seed planted, attention uncomplicated. Berlin blurred, club haze, beats pounding, Finn crashing same hotel. Late bar, confessions flow, Finn's breakup, Elias's strains. Need release, Finn leaned, hand on knee. Elias pulled back. Committed. But temptation's taste lingered, guilt gnawing flight home. Thanksgiving redux, Maria's table, but Elias late, deal close, arriving distracted, carving wrote. Post-pie walk, Rowan confronted, you're here, but gone. Elias sighed fog breath. Pressure. Authentics could eclipse Hawthorne. And me. Rowan stopped, leaves crunching. Eclipse too. Hurt flared. You're my why. Words hollow, Rowan retreated inward, songs sharpening, tour anthems of ache. December crescendo, Rowan's Madison Square Garden homecoming, sold-out spectacle. Elias front row, flowers tossed, but post-bow, green room tension simmered. Killed it, Elias hugged, but Rowan stiff. Stay tonight. Rowan asked, band dispersing. Elias checked phone. LA morning. Red-eye. Deflation. Always the grind. Argument ignited, supportive or suffocating. Elias snapped. Present or pretend? Rowan countered. Elias stormed, door thud. Rowan alone, makeup smeared, calling Lena, cracking. Holiday haze, separate Christmases, Rowan Vermont, Mom's carols a tonic, Elias Clare's Palm Beach, superficial sparkle. New Year's solo, Rowan Times Square edge, Elias London countdown, texts crossing, sorry. Me too. January rift widened. Rowan's tour wrapped triumphant, but homecoming hollow, penthouse sterile, Elias en route Tokyo. Voicemail amiss our chaos. Home soon. But soon stretched, delays, crises. Rowan Dove Album 3, themes of tether and tear. Jax noted, darker. Good dark. Elias, jet-lagged returns, sense chill. What's wrong? Us, Rowan said over cold takeout. You're building walls, not bridges. Elias defensive, sacrificing for security. Sacrificing me. Tears hot. I need you, not promises. Space decreed, trial separation. Clarity. Elias's face ashen. Don't. But Rowan packed duffel, co-op bound. Love you. But lost. Months blurred solitary. Rowan channeled void into tether's end, tracks lacerating, voice a scalpel. Gigs intimate, crowds intimate with pain. Elias echoed, authentic sword, but hollow, nights Finn's emails unread, therapy venting fear of losing. Turning, Summerfest, Glastonbury proxy in Hudson Valley. Rowan headlined, set searing. Crowd chant mid-Thor, Elias. Elias. Unscripted, organic. Backstage, he broke, sobbing to Lena, still mine. Call placed, festival. Come. Elias arrived dusk-caked, eyes haunted. Heard the chants. Felt them. Embrace crushing, words tumbling, Elias's temptations confessed, flirted edges, never crossed, Rowan's insecurities bared, feared fading. Forgiveness forged, recommit. Balanced. Reunion raw, co-op couch, clothes frantic, Elias's mouth devouring, Rowan's hips grinding, penetration urgent, couch springs protesting, climaxes synced sobs. Rebuild intentional, calendars synced, no trips pacts. Couples retreat, Berkshire's cabin, no tech, just talks, fears voiced, futures sketched. Lovemaking meditative, tantric edges, Elias inside slow, eyes locked, soul tied. Fall 2027, harmony. Rowan's album gold, Elias's keynote at Pride TechCon, Rowan introing, my anchor. But climax loomed, Claire's will reading, Palm Beach summons. Inheritance strings, Elias warned. Arrival humid, estate manicured. Lawyer droned, bulk to Elias, caveat, marry within year, traditional union, or forfeit. Claire's twist, grief's revenge. She never forgave, Elias whispered, stunned. Rowan squeezed hand. Choose. Defiance, we walk. But forfeit stung, millions for causes, security. Elias paced beach, waves lashing. Tempted. Stability. Rowan's heart seized. Us or that. Torn, Elias slept sand, dawn decision, us. Always. Walk out public, statement to press, love over legacy. Backlash, foolish. But allies surged, crowdfunding for Echo Alliance's eclipsing loss. Winter healed, Vermont holidays, mom's eyes brightening to duets. Proposal redux, New Year's, Central Park snow, Elias kneeling, ring reclaimed, marry me? Our way. Yes, Rowan breathed, kiss eternal. Wedding spring 2028, rooftop, intimate, Maria officiant, Lena Jack's band. Vows poetic, in fractures, we found whole. Honeymoon Iceland, geysers and glacier, hot springs unions, bodies buoyant, Elias thrusting water-lapped, Rowan's echo steaming. Life post, balanced orbits, tours tandem, authentics home-based. But subtle, ages whisper, dreams of legacy beyond, kids? Surrogacy talks tentative. One eve, stargazing balcony, family. Elias ventured. Rowan nodded. Hours. Years folded like sheet music, 2030 dawning crisp with promise as Rowan and Elias settled into the rhythm of laughter happily, a cadence less fireworks, more hearthglow. The penthouse evolved, walls lined with platinum records and authentics awards, but corners softened, Rowan's mom's quilt-draped couch, Elias's father's watch-ticking mantle. Marriage's first anniversary passed in quiet reverence, vow renewal at the cabin, just them, rings exchanged under aurora mock, northern lights a private show. Career arcs intertwined seamless. Rowan's discography swelled, Tether's End a staple, tour scaled smart, residences in Vegas theaters where his voice, matured to mahogany depth, drew graying fans and fresh faces. Elias helmed Authentics Global, satellite offices in Berlin, Sao Paulo, but HQ anchored Brooklyn now, a loft space buzzing with coders and creators, queer codecs in concrete. Collabs flourished, joint album, duet directives, tracks co-penned, Elias's spoken word overlays on Rowan's croon, Billboard darling. Daily domesticity deepened bonds. Mornings, shared jogs along the High Line, breath sinking, coffee post-run at a pier cart, hands brushing foam. Plot tonight. Elias teased, eyebrow arched, code for bedroom blueprints. Rowan smirked. Your lead. Evenings varied, foundation galas, tuxes tailored, Elias's arm possessive, or couch nests, take-out pad tie, binging indie docs, feet entwined. Intimacy evolved, less frenzy, more finesse, lazy Sundays, Elias massaging Rowan's calloused fingers, escalating to oil-slick slides, mouths mapping familiar terrains, penetration languid, gazes holding through waves. Therapy tapered, but check-ins lingered, Hale retired, new counselor Myra, a soft-spoken sage. Sessions probed parenthood pulls, kids. Myra prompted. Elias leaned forward. Surrogate. A boy, maybe. Teach him chords and code. Rowan nodded, throat tight. Echo us. Process launched, agency meets, profiles poured, profiles of donors, carriers, dreams sketched. Selection, a carrier named Sophia, artist from Queens, your music midwifed my courage. Contract signed, hope seed planted. Pregnancy's arc wove wonder and worry. First ultrasound, grainy heartbeat, Elias's hand trembling on Rowan's knee. Hours. Months swelled, Sophia's glow, their visits with burp cloths and sonograms framed. Cravings runs, 2 a.m. pickle runs, laughter echoing empty aisles. But shadows slunk. Claire's estate contested, distant cousin challenging lavish lifestyle clause, dredging wedding photos for extravagance. Legal mire, depositions dredging past scandals, Tyler's spectre subpoenaed for character. Elias fumed briefings, vultures on vultures. Rowan steadied, we've slain bigger. Crisis peaked mid-second trimester, tabloid torrent, Hawthorne heir hunt, surrogate scandal. Leaks twisting surrogacy to dynasty dodge. Protests at Authentics, real families first. Hate mail flooded, Rowan shielding bellybump dreams. Break, Rowan retreated Vermont, cabin sanctuary, strumming lullabies to the unborn. Elias joined weekends, city shed, building cribs from birch. One night, fire crackling, Rowan voiced fracture, fear they'll take him. Like dad. Elias knelt, ear to imagine swell. No. We're fortress. Resolution forged, public pivot, docuseries, building echoes, raw reels of journey, Sophia's story central. Airing drew tides, empathy waves, donations doubling. Contest dropped, cousin cowed. Birth July 2031, sweltering, hospital hum. Labor long, Sophia fierce, Elias pacing, Rowan coaching breaths. Dawn cry, boy, 7 pounds, tuft of gold brown hair, icy blue flecked green. Liam, Elias named, cradling, tears salting skin. Light bearer. Parenthood upended, upbuilt. Sleepless neon lit, Liam's wails a new symphony, Rowan rocking, Elias formula fumbling, tandem tags. Milestones mounted, first gurgle echoing Rowan's laugh, chubby fist on guitar strings. Foundation adapted, family leave, nanny collective, queer caregivers, playdates in park meadows. Challenges chiseled. Liam's colic nights, Elias unraveling, am I enough? Rowan held, more. Tour pauses, Rowan acoustic only, Elias virtual keynotes, Liam babbling backdrop. Deeper dive, Liam's first pride, toddler tot in rainbow honesty, Elias hoisting on shoulders, Rowan snapping candids. Our legacy, Elias said, confetti swirling. But time's toll whispered. 2035, Liam 4, whirlwind, preschool finger paints, bedtime where the wild things are. Rowan's voice, touring weary, therapy-tuned, aging artist blues. Elias mirrored, Empire Elder, Succession Talks. Collab cooled, Date Nights Deliberate, Babysitter Bound, Speakeasy Jazz, Rediscovering Sparks. 1 Anniversary, Hotel Suite, Liam with Maria, Roleplay Reignited, Elias Stranger at Bar, Rowan Siren, Seduction Scripted, Ending Bound Wrists, Thrusts Reclaiming. Crisis Redux, Liam's Fever Spike, Flu, Not Fate, but Terror Unearthed, Elias's Health Scare Echo, Panic Attack in Waiting Room. Can't Lose, he gasped, Rowan anchoring, here. Aftermath, Family Pact, Wellness Weaves, Annual Retreats. 2040, Liam 9, Prodigy Hints, Coding Apps with Elias, Harmonizing with Rowan. School Play, Liam as Tree, Parents Beaming Front Row. But Underbelly, Rival App Poaches Authentics Talent, Lawsuit Labyrinth. Elias Dives, Obsessing, Late Nights, Liam's Daddy Home, Tugging Heart. Rowan Intervenes, Balance, or Break. Clash, You Chase Stages, I Chase Security. Rowan Stung, Stages for Soul. What's Yours? Space Short, Liam's Intervention, Miss Happy Use, Melting Walls. Counseling Family, Myra's Air, Kid Inclusive, Unpacking Provider Traps. Healing, Sabbatical Shared, Cross Country RV, Liam's Shotgun, Playlists Looping. Stops, Grand Canyon Echoes, New Orleans Jazz, Vermont Roots. Nights Tented, Stories Spun, Bonds Rewoven. Return Renewed, Authentics Restructured, Rowan Residency Vegas, Family Quarters. Liam Thrives, School Queer Allied, Friends Diverse. Milestone 2045, Liam's 13th, Bar Mitzvah Hybrid, Jewish Roots from Elias's Mom, Songs Rowan's Gift. Speech, Dad's Taught Love's Loudest in Quiet Choices. Tears Collective. After Party, Dance Floor Dadson, Rowan Twirling, Elias Watching, Chest Full. Aging's Grace, 2050, Rowan 50, Voice Patterned, Respected Raconteur, Masterclasses Mentoring. Elias 60, Silver Street, Authentics Legacy Endowed. Liam 18, NYU Bound, Queer Studies, Music Tech. Empty Nest Loomed, but Enriched, Travels Tandem, Greece Isles, Tokyo Temples. Lovemaking Legend, Slower, Savoring, Elias's Hands Arthritic but Ardent, Rowan's Breath Hitching Eternal. Final Arc, 2055, Vermont Cabin, Liam Visiting with Partner, Gentle NB Artist. Family Full Circle, Mom Long Gone, but Spirit in Songs. 1 Eve, Porch Swing, Elias to Rowan, Best Plot. Rowan smiled, head on shoulder. Hours. Unwritten End. Twilight deepened, stars pricking, their hands linked, endurance's emblem. Humanity's core, love not flawless, but faithful, mending fractures, echoing hallelujahs into infinity.